Hello everybody, how are we all doing? I'm just giving people a minute to get in. I thought with it being the spooky weekend in the UK, I'd pop on and give you a bit of an update. Hiya Dave, how are you doing, sweetheart? About how things are going at the moment. Still not had any treatment for my arm. Every time I go to get treatment for my arm, there's a different reason why they can't do it. So I'm getting really fed up with it now. And pain's absolutely debilitating. So they've promised me they're going to have a look at it again first week in December and see if they can do anything with it then. And for anyone who knows, this has been going on for me since March, so it's awful. The pain's just absolutely dreadful. But how have you been, Dave? How are you doing? It's quite a nice day here. Sun's out. It's cold, but the sun's out. And I'm in bed because Mark made me a bacon sandwich and a cup of tea. So I thought, oh, I'll just nip on and I'll see if there's anyone around. I don't normally go live on a Sunday, do I? But yeah, I've not been working. I haven't done any BBR stuff or anything like that. I have been doing some lives on TikTok, but they're just normally about the Kabbalah case that I've been following for a while, the cult as it's called. So I've not done a whole lot of cryptid stuff, but I have started to put some videos. And I put same as usual, yeah, same, fairly ill but still standing. That's me. Mark's back's really bad at the moment, and it doesn't help having to lug me around, does it really? So I had a couple of falls, quite bad the month that's just gone, and two of them were in the bath, trying to get me out of the bath, and I did a bit of a number on myself. So baths are out of it for me now, can't do them. So Mark set a shower stool up for me in a shelf so I can at least, hi Roger, at least bathe without falling over. But it was quite worrying. I couldn't lift myself. There was nothing I could do. I went down and then I tried again and I went down again. So Mark had to get me out. Quite worrying. Not used to being this poorly and this helpless, so, to be honest. Hi Philip. I intend to have a lovely Tikkitaboo Sunday. So as I say, I haven't any new cases to bring to you or anything like that. I haven't been working any. I've had one come in and I've put them with Dave Robinson. He's dealing with that one for me now. But I've slowly been going through anything that's been sent in to me that I haven't had time to actually share or present to the public, really. So I wanted to touch on some of those stories today. The first one's really interesting. It is from, let me just get my laptop up. So I can see you. It's in an area in Australia. Let me just pull it for you. And the figure was described as looking like Chewbacca. Now, there are a couple of reports in the UK that mention that description. One in Scotland, definitely, that I can think of, that's up near Glencoe. And they speak of, exactly that. It looked like a figure. The Star Wars movie, it looked like Chewbacca. And I think for anyone who's my generation, a bit younger and a bit older as well, in the UK, that's one thing that we can point to and say, actually, it looked like that. Because if you don't know about the Woodwoos and you don't know about early the Green Man, the Hairy Man, the Wild Man stories, you wouldn't have anything to equate to this creature that you'd seen. So normally when reports come in, they use the word ape, or it was like a human ape, or it was like a monkey, or it was like a chimp, or it was like a gorilla. There's like an animal word to it. Hi Jojo, sweetheart, how are you doing, darling? But as I say, we don't have anything that we can point to and go, well, actually, that was it that I saw. Chewbacca's a very good fit for it, isn't it? It's really tall, it's really hairy, it's big and muscular, and so that's what this report says, and it's a Chewbacca type figure was striding down the river, and it was shared in the BBR Facebook group, which Mike Wright is still running, so that is still open and it's still active. And I'm hoping, as I start to get some treatment, that I'll be able to come back and do a bit in there. Hi, Rich, sweetheart. Luckily, we haven't had too many fireworks here. Fingers crossed, because Roy really struggles with them. I have got some calming tablets for him in case it does kick off. I think it might do on not Halloween, sorry, bonfire night. So I've got Layla's birthday on Tuesday, and I think bonfire night's the day after. So I got him some calmers, because if people are letting fireworks off, he can't manage with it. He really can't manage with it. So back to this one. Witness report. My brother and I have been interested in the supernatural, and his rather than right glasses on. I didn't really come. My brother and I have a keen interest in the supernatural, and it's his rather than my first story that I want to tell you. Even though he's overseas, I think the group may appreciate it. He said he emigrated from the UK 15 years ago and lives with my sister-in-law and 2 nephews in Queensland, near where they film I'm a Celebrity. They enjoyed the outdoor life, spent one weekend near Kilcar, camping by a river. In the middle of the night, the eldest boy woke up to tell my brother that he'd heard something. So he grabbed a flashlight. They looked around the tents that they were sleeping in. They saw nothing. And then they walked up a rise that had a sharp drop down to the river near to which they'd camped. And as they peeked over the shelf and flashed the torch over the river, a Chewbacca type figure with its back to them was striding down the river with the water up to its waist. And as he kept the light on, it turned, walked out of the river, up the far bank, and away into the trees and out of sight. The next morning, he asked my sister-in-law to get into the water near to where he watched it, and she agreed. And unless the river had risen overnight, it went up to her chest level, and she's 5'11". So it makes the humanoid bipedal creature that the Aborigine speak of, and most Aussies generally call Yahweh, would have been about 8 feet tall. He said he had a good sense of humour, my brother, and he enjoys a drink. So I pressed on him whether or not he was making it up or spinning a yarn. And he said no. He's adamant that he saw something. And he's not wavered from this, even though it happened some years ago. There are other reports from Brits that have had no interaction in Britain and then gone abroad, and actually saw a creature. There's one, if I remember, in Colorado, where he'd gone to stay with friends in Colorado, and he was snowboarding, and saw a creature walking up through the woodland. He was quite high up, and he was looking down, and the creature was coming up towards him. So yeah, that's just one of the ones that had come in, and I wanted to cover that one, because I'm going to put it together in an article this week and put it out. I'm really missing social settings, people, the whole 9 yards. I've just been stuck in the house all the time. It's not been very fun. And as the weather gets worse, I'm going to be stuck in even more, aren't I? But yeah, this week will all be about, I am man with a pan. How are you doing, sweetheart? Everything this week is going to be about keeping that dog calm while we have all of the fireworks that go off. Because we have a lot of people around here that set fireworks off. So I'm quite shocked that we didn't have them over Halloween. Unfortunately for me and Matt, we didn't have any kids knocking on. There aren't any kids really where we live. So we didn't have any of that. It just kind of passed as normal for us. So I just sent Zane some money on his Monzo. Can you imagine? When I was a kid, we didn't have pumpkins back then. Nobody believes me when I say this, who's younger than me. But we didn't, did we? We didn't really have pumpkins. For us, it was a turnip And it wasn't trick or treat, it was Halloween, wasn't it? And a turnip, for people who don't know, some people call them a Swede. Okay, okay. Yeah, give them my love. All right, I'll see you in a bit. Yeah, so we used to have a turnip. That was so big. Like the size of your head. That were about it. They were ugly looking, awful, scary things, weren't they? Not like the fun, lovely pumpkins that you see today. And we'd have like a candle nub. You weren't allowed a full candle. You had to use one that was down on a nub. And honestly, there wasn't a whole lot of costume dressing up, was there? I remember having a witch's mask. And we used to just put black bin bags on. Or we'd put a sheet on and cut 2 holes in it and be a ghost. And that was kind of as exciting as it got back then for Halloween. So seeing it all now, and the way like people have gone full on out with the decorations, it's gone really American, hasn't it? It's very, and nobody calls it All Hallows anymore. So, Hallows Eve, it's now full on trick or treat pumpkin party. And what would we be doing this weekend when we were kids? We'd be making a guy, wouldn't we, for the bomber? We'd be collecting wood, making a bonfire, and sat outside the pub, the shop, or the laundrette, doing penny for a guy. We used to just dress my sister up when she was young. She was youngest, so we used to dress her up and put her in pram and pretend she was a guy, so we get money for her. Ingenious days, kids. Did you guys used to do that? I would imagine you did. We used to, like, the hardest part was getting spare clothes to make it. Like, we weren't allowed to rip them or sew them or anything, because obviously they had to be the boys' clothes again the day after. But yeah, we had used to have, and people would give you money. They don't do that anymore, do they? I mean, to be honest, back in the 70s and 80s, we were knocking on doors. Anybody could have been behind that door, couldn't they? But you didn't really think about things like that. And we didn't have the big, like, organised events that they get now. I mean, Heaton Park has a massive event for, like, Halloween, and Rivington usually does the Light Festival as well, the same as they do at Heaton Park. But yeah, it's been absolutely lovely watching all of the kids get dressed up and go out and do all of the things that they do. I'm just going to squidge my camera over a little bit while I have a sneaky fag. Yeah, now he's gone out, I can have a bit of my fag. Mark's mum's poorly, she's in hospital. So he's got me settled for the afternoon and he's got up to visit her. But yeah, I'm not supposed to be smoking, I'll get done. And he don't watch me live, so he'll never find out. And none of you lot are allowed to grass on me. Because I'll end up in an awful lot of trouble. So normally on a Sunday we have a rest anyway. Me and Mark are not a big one for Sunday dinners because we don't have the kids here, do we? It's just me and him. So we had a bacon butter and a brew. And that was about it. That's probably about as exciting as today is going to get. So what have you guys been up to? Obviously I've seen you post on Facebook and things like that, but how are we all doing in real life? Are we okay? It's been a strange one for me because I'm so used to being busy with BBR and keeping myself busy with BBR all the time. It's been strange. So I've done stuff that I wouldn't normally do. So I've sat down with Netflix and I've watched a lot of documentaries that I wouldn't normally watch, and enjoyed some of them, and some of them have absolutely terrified me. I watched one the other day and it was about a family who were having trouble with a neighbour over the road, and she literally shot the mother over, just nothing really, just over arguments with neighbours. And we've all been there, haven't we, arguing with neighbours. So the fact that it came to that, it was absolutely destroying. But I'm going to be honest, the last couple of weeks I've been looking at cases where people have been like harmed or attacked or unalived, because it's massively on the increase, isn't it, in the UK? And then obviously yesterday we had the whole train attack and everything, so that's been worrying me, I'll be honest, because I see the media reports coming in, and when you put them all together, and if you include the stuff that happens to females, in the last 14 days there have been 17 attacks, attempted attacks, or actual unalivings. I mean, never in our history on this island have we ever had that. We've never been to the point where every single day. I mean, how many of us walk the dog like that poor chap who was unalived in front of his daughter, and he was just walking the dog. He wasn't doing anything. He wasn't arguing with anyone. He wasn't, out there. I mean, you call us far right for having a flag, but he wasn't any of those things. He was just an ordinary man taking his dog for a walk. No different to my husband, you know. And when have we ever had to worry about that in the UK? When have we ever had to worry about getting on a train, or on a bus, or sending your child to dance lessons? I mean, let's be honest, Southport, that was a dance lesson, wasn't it? It's absolutely. My nieces dance. They do, they call it now Morris dancing. They do, it's a big thing in the UK, isn't it? And then my nieces do that. So all of that's like really worrying to me. So I haven't really kept up with the cryptid side of things or the paranormal side of things. I did see a strange video on TikTok, and I've put it to one side so I can have a look at it. And it was just a chap walking his dog. I made sure I checked his channel. He didn't have any cryptid stuff on it or anything. And it was a strange, weird, I wouldn't know what you'd call it. Like, it looked really cat-like, but then it stood up and went across the path. So I was like, oh, I've bookmarked that, and I'll have a look at it in the week if I'm feeling a bit stronger. But yeah, it's very, very worrying. It really, really is. There's just so much going on at the moment that you don't know where to turn, do you? We were in Aldi the other day, and some of them were scrapping outside. No idea what they were scrapping about, because we couldn't understand what they were saying, any of them. But it was like, it's just absolutely unreal. Like, people fighting in the street with bladed articles, and just terrifying. The things that are happening over in Ireland are just frightening. Absolutely frightening. I mean, that young girl was she 14? And then a 10-year-old little girl. I mean, what threat is she to anybody? She's just a child, isn't she? So it absolutely appalls me. It just appalls me. It's just like, what are we supposed to do as a nation to change this? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. And I don't think anybody else does, until our government do something and actually pull the finger out and stop saying that. Well, don't over-exaggerate. Don't be telling people what's happening in the country. We don't want that getting out there. We do want that getting out there. We do want people to know what's happening in our country to ordinary men and women who are just going about their ordinary lives, because our government is prioritising foreign nationals over us, and I think I'm allowed to say that. I don't think that that's wrong in any way. Rich is just, for anyone watching back, Rich has just mentioned that, as he goes to church and he's a regular traveller, the situation seems ever more frightening, and it does to me. It does to me, Rich. I mean, I don't live in a big town like London or anything like that, but we're seeing it here. So if we're seeing it here, how bad is it, in places that are far more populated than where I live? I fear for my grandchildren. Layla's 20. So the idea of her just walking around and being there for anybody could take her, Mark's worried sick, so he's picking her up every night after work. She's just changed jobs, luckily, so she's going to be working much closer to the house now, and there won't be as many late nights, so much better. But it is worrying. It's very, very worrying. And my grandson's only 11, so the stuff that he sees is he's an 11-year-old boy. He's already seen a deceased body. It's just, it's terrifying. And I don't live in a huge metropolis, and neither do the children. They're about 2 towns over, but theirs is only a small town like mine. And to be seeing that and witnessing that when you're 10, it's just, it's absolutely mind-boggling. Isn't it? And Joe says that it's becoming a daily thing. It is, and I've been making a note of them, Joe, because I haven't stopped my media alerts. I've just changed them. So as I haven't put any paranormal requests out there, what I'm getting is regional stories of these kind of like attacks and violence and, you know, hate, Anglophobia, that's a word that I can use. You know, that I'm allowed to say Anglophobia, aren't I? So that is an ever-growing thing that's happening. So we're being pushed further and further into a corner, and that means that as a nation, we're like this, aren't we? All of the time. And I don't want to live under that state. And I don't think anybody else wants to live under that state, do we? I don't think anyone ever tunes in here to look at my face, Zita, but thank you for the compliment. I don't know. It terrifies me, Joe. So as these media alerts are coming in, I'm able to realise that they might be being reported in a regional newspaper, but they're not hitting the nationals. They're not hitting the BBC. They're not hitting the, you know, the media outlets that lie to us on a daily basis. So that's a cover up. You can cover things up by just not sharing them, and that's exactly what they're doing. They don't want us to have the full amount of information. They want us confused and upset and arguing with each other, you know. I know Joe's been out marching. I'm really proud of you and all of the stuff that you've done. It's amazing. And I can see others doing everything they can, you know, to make a difference, to make a change. And me and Mark are the same. We're trying to do that. We've never really been one for ordering takeaways or anything like that. So we just kind of see to ourselves. But I wouldn't have a foreign national coming to my door now at 11:30 at night with food, because I don't know that he's the legitimate guy that's passed the CB check to get that license, because we know what's going on. I love the fact, though, Joe, that they are doing disabled areas so everybody can get out. I'm really hoping that we do a national march. I think that'd be amazing if you know, we declared a day and we marched in our own cities, our own towns, across England, Ireland, Wales and Scotland. I think that'd be amazing, because that was an amazing show of strength, wasn't it? An absolutely amazing show of strength. So to be able to do that on a national basis, I think it really would show people how we're feeling. And the other thing I'm not liking is I'm seeing the opposition being able to protest and march uninhibited. Hiya, Vicky, sweetheart. They're able to do that and then not getting any police interaction. They're not being arrested for it. But people who are classed like myself as far right, which is absolutely ridiculous, they are being stopped protesting. We are being arrested for the things we're saying on Facebook and TikTok. They are coming out to people's houses. On the day that the 14-year-old girl was taken in Ireland and her dad passed away because of what happened, the police were in England arresting a woman because she was appalled at what she'd seen and wrote about it on Facebook. So within an half an hour, they'd read the Facebook post and come and arrested her. Why are those police officers not saying to their superiors, well, actually, it's a bit of it's TikTok drama, it's Facebook drama. You wouldn't ask us to go in school and stop children from arguing online, so why are you expecting us to police adults who pay their own way and are completely entitled to an opinion? Why are we wasting police time and resources and personnel on that? But there were no officers on that train yesterday. Champion this morning in the BBC, how quickly the police got there. It doesn't matter how quickly they get there when around 10 people were attacked. Why are they not on the trains? Why are they not at the stations? Because we don't have enough of them, you're not prepared to fund them, and you're wasting money on stuff that we don't need. We do not need to pay for diversity for anybody. We don't need to be paying for rainbow marches. We don't need to be paying for translators. We don't need to be paying for anything that includes anybody that's not actually on this island. So some people are not aware that if you live in Europe and your husband works here in a job, you are entitled to all of the same benefits as a woman living here would get. So I'll give you, for instance, if you're in Poland and your husband works legally in the UK, but his wage is low enough that he qualifies for child tax credits, then that woman in Poland gets them. And that's not just one lady. If you're from Roma and your husband works here, they're entitled to full benefits. Do you know, Joe? I think we are. I think we're beyond second class. If we look at the one that weighed it up for me, I was talking to my friend in Ireland, and she was, mums get upset when you get to the time of year where you've got to start picking schools for your kids, because we all know what school we want them to go, and we all know that we might not get that school for them, and they might have to go somewhere lesser. So I couldn't understand why she was so irate about it, because I said to her, they've not told you where she's going yet, like, calm down and wait for it to happen. And she's like, no, Debbie, you don't understand. Any person who's from outside of the UK that comes here legally gets first choice on school places. Anyone who's here illegally gets second choice on school places. And the Irish public, who fund everything, and you're going to say, well, they get the leftover places, don't they? Yeah, they do. But there are so few of them that they have to enter a lottery. Ordinary citizens in Ireland have to enter a lottery to hope that their child gets a school place. And if not, they can be placed in a school 2 hours away. Or they will be insisted that you have homeschooling and they learn on a computer. That's absolutely appalling. The Irish citizens should get first at everything. You know, there are flats up for rent that say no Irish apply. So we've gone all the way back to the 50s. Where Erica lives, next door to Erica, it's expensive. It's like about £1,000 a month to stay there. Flat goes up. So, you know, we're nosy, aren't we? We want to have a look what the flat's like inside and stuff. Is it worth her and Dan moving and all of this? And when we look, it says, this flat is only available to people on DSS, and you must be not a couple. They did the most politest wording to say, we want 2 foreign nationals who are going to get full housing benefit, because that's what you're going to need to keep this flat on. So when you're going for properties and you're a working family and you're working day in, day out and you're being taxed, you will not get that property. Somebody who's on the dole, who's never worked here, never paid in at any point, will get that property. They're entitled to that property, not you. And how many other properties are out there like that? So I can, tomorrow, you know, I can't realistically, but you get what I mean. If I had pretend money, I'd like real money, I could go and buy a 3-bed. There's a 3-bed over the road for me empty, right? And I could put a family or a single person in each 3 of the bedrooms, couldn't I? And then there's like a living room, a dining room, and a kitchen. So then I could put a family in the living room, couldn't I? If I wanted to. So let's say that's 4 individuals. They would share the kitchen, they would share the dining room, and they would share the bathroom. And I would be absolutely coining it in. So if it's $750 a month, that's what they're saying, then I'd get 750 a month, wouldn't I? For doing nothing, just having them in there. And nobody in the UK who was working would be able to afford that rent. So you're going to be on the council list. When I got this flat, talking like seriously, when I got the flat, I was living in a brand new 3-bed house, right? And the rent on it was incredibly expensive. Probably, I think it was 3 times more than we're paying now. I had to leave because of the whole WIT situation and everything that they did to the family. And people kept saying, well, if it's that bad, why have you not moved anywhere? It took us a year to find a property that was suitable for me. Yeah, a whole year. And this was like, it was awful, this property, when we got it. It was absolutely awful. But I knew there is no way we'd be able to get anything in this area unless we took the absolute bottom of the pile. And that's what we did, and made the best of it. You know, we made it into a home and we made the best of it. But I'm seeing other people who've been, you know, on benefits for 3-4 generations, who give me brand new spanking properties, and they're not going to pay rent on them. The taxpayer is rent on them. And I'm seeing so many brand new houses go up around here that people can't afford them. But we are seeing a lot of people from abroad going in them. So that's being funded by the taxpayer. They're not paying the rent on those homes. Those homes are being... And that's what it's like around here where I live now. You know? Somebody asked me the other week, like, is that church not a church anymore, Deb? And I was like, I don't know what you mean. What do you mean? So it's like the Tudor church down there. Is it still a church? I went, I think so. I presume so. I'm not sure. So I was talking to my friend, Sada, and he asked her, she went, oh no. She went, it's an Islamic centre in the day, and at night, it's any prisoner that they haven't got a cell for before they go to court in the morning gets put up in there at night. And I thought, that can't be right. I need to go and get that checked. That's probably just a bit of cat's whispers that's gone round, and it's wrong, and it wasn't wrong. It's an Islamic centre in the day, and at night, a big prison man pulls up, and they get the prisoners out, and they put them in there. They're just detainees. They put them in there until wherever it is they take them the next morning. And that's night after night after night. One of our other ones is now a Buddhist temple. If I go and vote, I'd have to go and vote. Well, I wouldn't now because I don't live there now, but when I lived there, I would have to go and vote at the Buddhist temple. Oh, you know, I should move my arm then. Oh, I can't do this. I'm ready for chopping it off. That's the thing, Vicky, isn't it? It's terrifying. If you have a council property now, you've got to keep hold of it with everything that you've got, because it's so impossible to be housed. You know, it's impossible. If you've lived here your entire life, and your parents have lived here and paid in, and your grandparents did, you're not getting that home. Especially if you work. You know, if you're not prepared, if you're not on benefits, and you go out and you work and you're on a very, very low income, then there's nothing. You're stuck, aren't you? Scuppered. Oh, hi, Lane. Lovely to meet you. Lynn, I've been in your position. 2006, I had my accident, and I lived in a 3-bed house then. I had children. And I wasn't fit to come home because I couldn't use the stairs. The toilet was upstairs. I couldn't use any of the bedrooms. I couldn't use any of the facilities. And they decided, because they couldn't rehouse me, they just put me upstairs in my house. So there was 8 years where I sat upstairs in that bed, listening to the kids playing downstairs, or they'd come up to me. It was like I lived in a separate place than my husband. And then, obviously, when I moved, I'm very lucky now that I'm in a ground floor flat, and I knew that I would never be able to get anywhere that fitted my disability. And they kept saying to me, Deb, this is the only one we've got. And I went, right, I'll take it. And she was like, you've not looked at it, it's the right mess. And I was like, I don't care, I'll take it. I said, I don't care, I'll take it. I don't care what it's like. And she was like, it's bad. And I was like, I don't care. We'll clean it, we'll paint it, we'll make it into an home. I don't want shoving in somewhere where I can't. You're not asking for much, Lynn, are you? You're just asking for some independence, some quality of life. So if you were in somewhere that was adapted to you and your needs, you might be able to do more than you're doing now. And I understand that 1,000%. Even when you've got someone like Mark who doesn't mind helping, you know, doesn't mind that he doesn't mind like doing the pots, doing the washing, seeing to me, doing all of the caring. But I'm a woman. I want to be able to do some things privately on my own, you know. I don't want him always having to see to me like that. You know, and if I can sit on a perching stool and wash a cup and a plate, then I'd much rather do that, you know. Hi, Brother Alex. I used to do cryptid and paranormal reports all of the time on YouTube, but I'm off sick, unfortunately. I've had to retire with you, bad health. But I'm trying to get myself back in. But today we're just having a general catch up because I haven't spoken to anyone in a month. It's been a whole month since I've spoken to you all. But yeah, I get it, Lynn. I understand more than most. You just want some quality of life. You just want to be able to go out in the garden and sit on a chair, you know, listen to the birds, sit in the sunshine. And if you're trapped in a place, that's awful, isn't it? You're not going to love the home that you're in. And if the council had any sense, they'd put you in a smaller place and then a bigger family could have the home that you're in. And that, you know, that rattles down the chain, doesn't it? Did I ever witness paranormal activity? Yes, yeah. I witnessed it when I was a child. I witnessed it when I was a teenager, and it's kind of something that's been with me most of my life, to be honest. Ran away from it till I was about 35, and then kind of learned how to deal with it and to kind of just make it part of my life so it wasn't trauma anymore. Just, Lynn, honestly, my heart goes out to you. It's just not fair, is it? It really, really is not fair. There are several properties where I live that would be absolutely ideal for you. Unfortunately, there's a lot of crack barrels in them. Selling out the front window, kids turning up day and night, but they're vulnerable, so that's why they're in the ground floor flats. Those flats have small gardens, which for me, to still be able to go out into my garden is amazing. I'm really grateful for what I've got. It might have been the world's shittiest flat when I got it, but I'm really grateful for having it because it's gave me some independence back. And obviously I run my business from it, didn't I, for years, you know, for the last 4 years that we've been here. I've always done BBR from my bed or sat in my chair. And what people don't know, that the chair's adapted. You don't see the bottom of it. It's lifted so that I can sit in it comfortably. So like all of that, you find a way, don't you? But then when you see other people, and they're given those properties that you really in need of, and they just absolutely trash them, and they're not grateful for them, you know, and there's a number of them where they've just walked off and not even told the council they've gone. So there's properties that sat there empty. And somebody from the homeless unit could have gone into them, you know, somebody coming out of hospital could have gone into one of them. I can't answer that one for you, Brother Alex. And honestly, I'm not on today to talk about the paranormal. I'm beyond encouraging anyone because honestly, there's stuff happening around me at home that I can't cope with, and it's become too much, and I just can't handle it, and it's like an onslaught of paranormal activity all of the time. Honestly, I can't answer that for you. It's not a question. People either experience it or they don't. I'm not really sure how you would go about starting. It's not something you can learn in a book or go on a course for. Have you had paranormal experiences in your life before? Being stuck in bed's awful, isn't it, Lynn? It's absolutely awful. Like, I'll give you for instance today. Mark was going out with Erica to go and pick a birthday cake up for Layla. And I'm sat in my bed, I couldn't go. He's gone out now to see his mum in hospital. Couldn't go with him, stuck in my bed. Later, he'll take the dog on a run, probably go up near the horses. I can't go, I'm stuck in my bloody bed. So I've had no horse time, no nature time, no paranormal time, and no talking to anybody. And paranormal activity is ramping up around me all of the time. I think it's because my defences are down and I'm weak. So I just haven't been in. If anybody's contacted me, I've just said, look, I can't at the moment. I just can't. I might be able to going down the line, but I stand at the moment. I just can't. I've got to self-protect. Vicky's poorly, and she Dave Davis who's in the chat, he's poorly. A lot of people who experience the strange do seem to be the type of people that end up with illnesses, things that debilitate them. So fibromyalgia, ME, bone pain, you know, just like my bones just crumble away. I think what I'm trying to say is, like most holy men, it does a number of you on your body. So it's like you're trying to cope with all of that. The girls are talking in one of the chats that I'm in, and there's 130 messages just from yesterday, and that's just them chatting backwards and forwards with things that have happened in their lives, and they're just getting to grips with the paranormal side of things and how to control it and how to stop it and how to turn it on and off when you want. And I remember having all of the same questions and hoping there was just an easy book out there that would give me the answer, and it's just a learnt thing. It's just, I don't know, I've never known any difference, so I wouldn't know how to tell you to do that. Somebody once asked me if I could put them in touch with like Sasquatch or Bigfoot, and I was like, I don't think it works like that. I think if it was meant to happen, then it would happen, you know? I don't think you can manufacture it. I think what I'm trying to say. You know, I think if it was supposed to happen, then it would. It's weird, isn't it? You always want what someone else has got. Like, he'd like to have paranormal experiences, and I'd like not to have any. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Dave. I'm glad you found something that's helping. I mean, I used to have the chocolate, didn't I? I'd have a bit of can butter and stuff like that. None of it's working. It just doesn't work for me anymore. And obviously the pain meds that I'm on for neuropathy don't do anything for this arm problem, so it's just horrible. I don't sleep. I'm not eating. I'm not loving it. It does, Vic. It does, doesn't it? And it takes your legs from underneath you, kind of. So for me, I know that the best thing I can do at the moment is rest. Yeah? I'll get through it. That was my horse. He's in the front room on his bed, which is like my couch where I would normally sit. He's in there. So when Mark comes back, the door's open. He can come in here if he wants. He's just probably knackered. He's probably having a nod. Yeah. But no, he's absolutely fine. I got him some new toys. I found some really durable ones. So I've let him have a play with them, and he loves them, and he knows they're in the cupboard. So if he starts getting upset when the fireworks start going off, I'll get the toys out and distract him with him. So he's probably start watching his cupboard at the moment. Hi, Kiss Sweeter, how you doing? But yeah, Joe's just asking me about the dog. I went up to see the horses though, Joe. I went up, not last week, the week before. And there's a couple of new ones there. This one of them didn't have an eye. So I've christened him Isaac. He mustn't have been born without an eye because there's no patch there or anything. It's just how he is. But yeah, I went up to see him. But it's going so dark at the moment. Like yesterday, it went dark 3:30. So I'd have to go up really early to see them. You know what I mean? If I wanted to get them on film or anything. I'm doing all right, kids. I'm just waiting on the NHS doing something with me. I went to see the specialist about 3 weeks ago. And he said everything we've tried up to now, Deb's not worked, but we can't do it because of the glucose level. We've got to get it as low as we can because the thing that we want to do is going to send your sugar through the roof. And I'm like, well, one of you should just please do something with it. Just cut it off. Just cut my fucking shoulder off. I'm sure I'll be a much happier person. But yeah, just trials and tribulations. It will pass. I think it's meant to. He's not going to come in here, Joe. He's in there, guarding everything. Probably sprawled out on the couch. He keeps sneaking in my lives. When I do the odd one on TikTok, he'll sneak in. He'll lie outside at bed of me now and sneak in. But like, they're a bit easy for me because they're about Kabbalah and all the madness that's going on there. So I normally have a list of questions when I go on that people have asked me throughout the day, all that madness. But I have slowly started putting some of the paranormal stuff on there. And I did a live stream, I think last week, about this time in the day it was, and I did it about Kane and the car accident. So I kind of sort of introduced some paranormal into into my TikTok, and that seems to have gone well. People seem to be enjoying it, so I will be doing more of that. So I was thinking of doing. I know not everybody has TikTok, but I thought if I do the odd live stream on YouTube and I do the odd live stream on TikTok, I'm kind of covering all my bases, aren't I? Marie, Joe's, you want to know? Joe knows when all of the marches are going out. I know when we went to the one in Wigan, it was a lady who runs it in Wigan that contacted me. But I wondered if, and I'm glad you've raised it, is there somewhere where you can go, like a Facebook group or a social media site, that actually advertises where the marches are going to be? Because I do get asked that question all of the time. And I'm like, honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I was lucky enough to catch that one because someone from Wigan said to me, "You're marching on Saturday in Wigan, are you coming?" And I was like, "Oh God, yeah, am I coming?" It was brilliant. It was really, really, it was an amazing atmosphere. It didn't kick off. It was really nice. There was people there with families. People had the dogs, you know. And the only trouble really was a few, what I would call middle class lefties, you know, who were just shouting. I don't know. I don't know why they believe it's racist to just want what your country used to be. Because when I say I want what my country used to be, I'm talking about the 80s. It was a very cosmopolitan country then. We'd just behaved better. We didn't have the crime that we have now. Kids had more opportunities. There was more jobs out there for school leavers. You could buy your own council house. People had spare money. I just want to go back to that. I don't care what colour you are, what creed you are, what race you are. As long as you are a decent person and you're okay with being in the UK and not ripping us off and not trying to get away with a freebie and, you know, all of that, then I'm all for it. I welcome you with open arms. You are needed. And that goes for the scummy white people as well, who sit with their arms out for 3 generations while working on the inside doing Indian weddings, moaning how poor they are all of the fucking time, and they've all got money coming in. You've got fellas living in the house that, you know, are not downers living there, so that the fella's keeping his wage. I'm supposed to, like, champion that over the chap who lives over the street from me. He come here 18 months ago. He's worked every single day. He comes out, he cleans his garden, he's polite to the neighbours, you never get any trouble off his kids, you don't get any trouble from his family, really nice bloke. I'm all for that. I'd much rather see that, because he's paying into the system, he's paying his tax, he's paying his own rent, he's not asking the system for anything, you know? So I'm up for that. I was just reading what Hot Dog could put. Hi, Adrian. How are you doing, sweetheart? I'm not sure. Is that supposed to be funny? I'm only kidding. But yeah, no, I'm all for that. So I'd love to know if I'll try and find out actually. I keep asking people, like, is there a place where we can go and it advertises it? You know, like where it says, like, there's a march in Yorkshire on whatever day, or there's a march in this place on whatever day. Nobody seems to be doing that. So I'm not really sure how they're coordinated. I'm fine with families, Lynn. I'm all fine with families, but I agree with what you say. Fighting age men who have no intention of working have no right being in this country. And I will say that I cannot just rock up in America, right, today. I can't decide today that I don't like living in the UK anymore. So I'm just going to go to America or Grenada or Belarus or wherever it is I feel like going. And I'm going to rock up at the airport and I'm going to say to him, right, I know I've never paid into the system and I know none of my family or my relatives ever had. But I don't want to be in England anymore. So I want to be here. So I don't want to do it legitimately though. I don't want it to cost me money. So I want you to give me a free house and I want free medical and dentistry. And you need to give me money as well. and I need vouchers for food. And obviously I'm going to need an iPhone or something so that I can get online and get all of this free stuff. What do you think that country would say to me? How quick would I be back on that plane? Rapid, wouldn't I? I'd be on that plane rapid. So I don't understand why that's allowed in my own country. If you followed any of the Kabbalah case, I don't know if any of you have, what we've got there is a woman who came from Nigeria when she was 17, came into this country on the premise that she was going to train as a psychiatric nurse. All for that. I'm all for anyone bettering themselves. She came in, she did the training, she worked for 3 years, all the way back down there, because she's 44 now. So for 3 years, she was about, what, 23, 24? She's never worked a day in her life. She brought a man over from Ghana who's lived here illegally for the past 10 years. She's had every property paid for her, and she's trashed it, wrecked it, lit fires on the floor in the living room, smashed it up, had 7 children, each and every one of them in care, then starts advertising for any other Africans that want to come and live here illegally and join their sex cult, because that's what they are. So they practice something called family intimacy. And when you pull them up on it, you're not allowed to, because apparently it's racist to question that, because that's their belief in the country that they come from. So I challenged them and said, no, it's not. I can go and find 10 Zambians that will put their hand up and say, what you're doing is appalling. And I could do the same with Ghanaians. So what they decided to do was, they rocked up in Scotland on a pony field job that somebody rents, right? And on that pony field, they then cut the horse's hair, cut its tail, tied it to a curtain pole so they could walk around pretending that they're a king and queen and they own that kingdom. They were trespassed by the British police. Get this, I'm going to love this one. The girl that came over to meet them, right, knew that they'd been in prison for child cruelty and had all 7 children removed from them. There was a pregnancy that she hadn't hid, and that baby still hadn't been found at any point. Yeah? So they were arrested, and the man, Kofi, the one from Ghana, is now in detention in immigration, right? The tourist who came here with her own baby in May had a baby taken off her by social services in July, and is now thrown in I can't go back to America or I'll be hunted by my family. Claim for asylum. So, in a nutshell, 3 people who are not originally from my country have come to my country, and we have consistently paid for their roofs, their housing, their medical, their children, everything they've needed, council tax, property rent, the lot. They've had all of it. And they have now like Lynn was saying, she's desperate for a flat. When they took the tourist and arrested her, they put her in a council-run flat, paid for her accommodation. Why? Why didn't you just stick her on a plane and send her back? The UK does have to. We have warm rain and cold rain, especially where I live in northwest of England. Yeah, I've got so many pictures of my kids and me growing up with shorts on, vest tops and wellies, because you just never know what the day's going to do, do you? But yeah, that is the ridiculousness of my country. I couldn't do that anywhere else in the world, could I? Me and Joe couldn't suddenly decide that we were this religious cult and we were going to rock up in Russia and get people from all across the world to come and join us, right? I'm quite sure they would. Yeah, I think the 2 females are in hotels now, Lynn, but the problem we've got is people are gifting them. People are paying for those hotel rooms for them. People are paying for the food that they're eating, you know, and I don't understand that. Because if people hadn't have enabled them at the beginning when they were in the woodland, yeah, we all knew. First bit of bad weather, they're going to be out of that wood, but people enabled them, didn't they? Gave them tents, gave them patry parks, gave them things to keep them warm. When was the last time any of you bought a full leg of lamb? I can't remember the last time me and Mark had lamb. It's that expensive. But she was demanding them, Jojo. Demanding that you send her a leg of lamb. She's also changed British history and said that Anne Boleyn was black. And that this African couple actually owned the UK. Because there was a black Jacobite here in the 15th century. And you think, well, what about the other 15 centuries before? It is complete and utter madness. And believe me, I've spoke to them. I've spoke to the people in Jedburgh who hate them. I've spoke to the people in Jedburgh who've enabled them. Because I've had them on my show and I've let them have the say. And they've even had a full-on fight on my show, which I thought was absolutely ridiculous. But there you go, that's what they do, don't they? But that is entirely what happened. And the person that I feel sorry for is the poor woman who owns the horses in the field and the children that have all been placed in social care. Why did you have a baby in June of 2024, come here in May of 2025 and hand your baby over to social services? She's supposedly up the duff. So that's another reason she wants to stay in the country. So we would be asked to house her, wouldn't we? Social services would take the baby straight away. If she's still around the child predator, she wouldn't be allowed to have it. So we'd have to be paying for that child as well. Why have our government just not sent her home? Were you up near Gala, Lynn? Because I've followed them when they were up at Gala. We're not really sure where they are now. I'm hearing different things. Some people are saying Manchester, some people are saying Kent, and they do have connections to both of those places. They're probably sofa surfing, I think, and they are booking into like. There's not a lot of tourists about this time of year, is there? There's a lot of vacant properties that you can get for quite cheap, like Airbnbs and stuff. So I would imagine that that's what they're doing. But what we've got now is that young lady is often on live streams dressed in very, very sparse clothing. Yeah, a really sparse new clothing. Just like a strip of cloth across here. And the older woman's saying that she, obviously she could get a lot of money for this bondswoman, they call her. Wealthy men would pay her to be in a company, let's put it like that, But honestly, I don't. Have you got to go on modding duty? I'll speak to you later. But yeah, it's just such a madness. I don't know what's become of the UK. Why do you want me to make a new channel, Joe? Yeah, or do you want me to just do like this, where I just come on and like vent? I know, do you know how you do, sweetheart? Yeah, I just come on here and moan about the British government and how fucking useless they are. Yeah. And honestly, I'd put them all on a plane first before I put anyone on a plane. If we're buying tickets for people to go home, then we need to start with Labour government. And everyone in power. Especially that mayor in London, he should definitely. When he goes like that, where am I supposed to go? I was born here. Anywhere, we don't care where you go, we just don't want you here. We've had you for nearly 50 years and we've decided we're not happy with you. We've got buyer's remorse and we want you to go home. Yeah, that's what we want you to do. We just want you to fuck off somewhere that's not here. Yeah, because we're sick of you. And we're sick of you calling us names, and we're sick of your Anglophobia. And that's a word that is never used. Ever. Anglophobia actually is a thing. Yeah? We hear the other phobias, don't we? We hear them all the time. Like, at us. How dare you want to be English, speak English, and do English culture in an English country, and you're English? How dare you? Take it down. Take it down now. I'm just going to open another one. You get them all the time, don't you? There's another one that they do where they send it through to you, like your email, or they send it to your TikTok. And you're like, yeah, TikTok's going to contact me through a fucking random failure to take action. Will it really? All right, okay. What action do you want me to take? It wouldn't involve money, would it, at any point? Fuck off. Honestly, I don't care if you get to my YouTube channel. It's really easy to just make another one. Everything's backed up. Yeah, you ban YouTube, Joe. Do you get them on Facebook as well? I get them on Facebook. Like like we have detected something in your Facebook account, and I think, why would Facebook message me through Messenger on a fake fucking profile that's just been made up? It's just ridiculous, isn't it? I was working on the Kabbalah thing, and we outed him, and they were kicked out. They were evicted, and he'd gone. And that same day, there were Africans all over TikTok pretending to be them, asking for money. That's how quick they jump on a scam. So it was like, oh yeah, we've got nowhere to live tonight. And you're like, you're not even. So I said to this fellow, you're not even here. So I don't know why you're saying you're here, Alan. Just fuck off trying to get me money. Oh yeah, I am here. I went, right, name my children. He went, I'm busy at the moment. It was like, yeah, I thought you would be. When you can name all 7 of the children, come back and I'll listen to you and take you seriously. I see one. Oh, I love the Peak District. And my very best storm in the Peak District. Me and Mark were in a TP. It was amazing. Like the lightning was hitting the ground and the ground was moving. And it was just hitting all round. And we got up in the morning and everyone's tent was wrecked. And ours was absolutely fine. We was very lucky that night, yeah. But oh, it's the best storm I've ever been in. The lightning was so strong, it was lighting up the tent, yeah. And the rain was so hard and so heavy. And I don't know why, but that's really comforting to me. So like, I had the best sleep of my night. Yeah, Kabbalah. Elise way. Do you know where the word Kabbalah comes from? Like, you know, this whole prophecy thing that she says, isn't it? It's from a film. It's a film that was made in Africa about a cult. And in that film, they chant the word Kabbalah. Yeah? And that's where the Kabbalah comes from. So Jean says that she's descended from a prophet by her father, Nebuchadnezzar. Well, he's not a father, so she can't be genetically descended from anything because he's not even her dad. Yeah, she's a very, very ill woman who admitted to doing things to her own siblings in writing. This is not me making none of this shit up. Go over and look at my TikTok. So much so that she was sent from Africa over here, and that's why she came here. She had her own children taken away from her 3 times. She worked as a street walker for at least 15 years that she was here. She's joined several churches or cults, as I would put them. One up here in Wigan, which is brilliant. Mark drove me down there while we had a look at it. And what she tended to do was, she likes a married man. So she'll get all involved with the married man, and when he refuses to leave her, then she throws in the grate. He always great, mate. He's done this, he's done that, yeah. And it all ended up in this big court case, and she got kicked out of court. It was all proven to be lies and everything. Oh, it's all right, babe. Don't worry about it. I can manage. I can mod. Yeah. Yeah, don't worry about it, Joe. It's Sunday afternoon, innit? You go and have fun, kid. I'll be back in a week. I'll jump back on in a week and do another one, and I'll just randomly talk. The hard thing for me to do at the moment is to, like, get cases together and do all the stuff that I used to do, where I'd come on live and I'd read those cases out, and, you know, people had asked me questions. I can't do it at the moment. I'm on so many pain meds. I just can't keep my head straight for long enough. But yeah, I've no intention of just running away forever. I'm just trying to get better. Hi, Sue. How you doing, sweetheart? So I'm not sure whether anybody would be interested in checking out my TikTok. There's a lot of stories on there that I wouldn't normally put out on YouTube. Some like in-depth crime ones. Obviously the whole Kabbalah shaboo. I've outed a few like fraudsters. Don't like the beggars on there. I don't ask for gifts or anything like that. I don't get it. By all means, if you want to gift a creator, do it. But there's some people like Kabbalah out there where you're actually gifting people who are committing serious crimes, against other women and things like that. So it's really tricky, isn't it? It's just, you don't know what to say and what to do that's correct. Is it all right if I discuss that? Is it not all right, So I find TikTok don't moan at me as much as YouTube do. It's like, you make a video for YouTube these days, you put it up, they won't let it through. So you change it again, they won't let it through. You change it again, they won't. And at that point, I don't care. I'm just going to put it on TikTok. No, don't. It's just I get email messages of people and they're like 7 books long. Yeah, and it'll be about a live stream I did 10 weeks ago. And every time I come live, then it's like they see me live and then they're like, right, I'm just going to send a load of stuff on email, so she has to do it. That's another one of the reasons why I don't do live streams as much, Hi, Flusky sweetheart, how are you doing? Just having a little bit of a catch up. Mark's gone out to visit his mum and I'm just in bed resting. So I thought I'd come on and have a little bit of a catch up. But yeah, it happens on Facebook as well. If I go on Facebook and I tick like, I get 72 messages. So I think, well, I'm not going on Facebook today because I don't want to answer 72 messages all afternoon. Yeah, well, I'm full of, like, got my on now, Zapping or something they've got me on now. But I need it. I can't get through the day without driving me mad. It's like constant pain. I've got a bone that's chipped here. In the bit where it goes in. So it should sit like that, shouldn't it? And it's sitting like that. So it's snapped me tendons. It's made a mess of me. There's loads of scar tissue in there, they said. It's all just glued up. So I have to keep going while they break it. And it's awful. Oh, we got a new pup. Oh, that's lovely. German Shepherds scare me. Our Michelle had one called Sable. And she used to bite you when you went out the door. Not when you were coming in. When you were leaving, she'd bite you. And other than that, she was lovely. But I think it might be the police dog thing. But like, I'm always, when they start barking and stuff, I'm always dead scared. But then people who have them, they say, oh no, they're dead soft, they're mad. But people think that about my dog, don't they? A lot of people see him coming because he's huge, and you see him back up and you go, no, he's fine, honestly, he won't do anything to you. He thinks he's a chihuahua. And it normally he'll lie down, so he's not as big and looming to people. I'm just going to shut my laptop, I don't need it open. Oh, I'm feeling my pain today, I'll be honest. I'm feeling my bloody age. I love new pups. Yeah, I do love a new pup, I can't lie. Yeah. We've decided that we're at that age now, though, if anything happens to Roy, it's probably unfair of us, to get another dog. We've been so lucky with him. He's never been ill. We've never had a problem. As soon as I got him, I booked him into the vet. Yeah, he's heard his name. I booked him into the vet, and he's on the puppy plan. So every 6 months he goes to the vet and he has a full checkup, like teeth, nails. He gets the flea treatment. He gets worm. He has the whole 9 yards. And he's always been fine. What's to do? Oh, it's a cat. There's a cat. There's a cat that's had the audacity to come into our garden. So you let him bark for a bit. He doesn't like the black cat from over the road. He really doesn't. So yeah, I might go in a minute and have a little nod. That's how I feel. I can feel it kicking in now. And to think I used to be able to do 2-hour live streams, unscripted, just off the top of my head, no problem. They have assured me that it will get better. And once they found a way that they can treat it, even if they have to fuse it, I'm all right with that. So that I'm not in pain, and the pain's not there constantly all the time. And then I'd just be back to my normal self. I could go out again. I could do interviews again. I could go to the scene again, and all of those things at the minute I can't do because being in the car is really hard. Because, like I say, I've got a broken bone in it that they can't fix. So I went for another MRI on Thursday. God knows what these MRI are. They send me for one every 3 weeks. So I think it's to make sure that no further damage has been done. So it's strapped up all of the time. So it's like, but you forget, don't you? So like I keep going to do things with my left arm, and then I'm back in that pain cycle again. So sleeping's a nightmare because as it relaxes, you know, when you relax, it kind of drops, and it causes me a lot of pain. So I'm having to sleep sat up. So here goes the fireworks. So Mark got me one of those city up pillars. It's over there. I'm not using it. It's typical of me. Yeah, and like I say, I had a bad fall in the bath. I'd smashed all the back of my head in and everything. And I'd had 3 previous the week before. So Mark's like, no, that's it, done. You're going to have a shower from now on. And I'm like, I can't stand up long enough. So we got like a shower seat so I can sit in the shower and have a shower now. So I feel a bit better about that. I think I'm going to start my red light treatment again this week because he just gave me the go ahead. Now, normally I'm brilliant when I'm on that. I have 2 or 3 sessions of it and I feel okay again. So they've just passed me to go back on it. So I was like, oh, thank God for that. So I booked him for tomorrow. But it will get better, won't it? It's got to. There's always an end to it, isn't there? It's just I'm just going to have to go through it in a moment. And I feel bad because I can't make content. And I can't do the helping of people like I would normally do. So I can't do the phone calls. I just haven't got the ability that I had before this happened in April. And I think the car crashes have impacted it so much that when I had the initial fall from the horse in April, it's just gone where it's been weak. And like it was a dismount, and my foot got stuck in the stirrup. And as I came down hard and I landed on this side and like a fucking knobhead. As I went to get myself up, the stirrup whacked me in the head. So I had like a big bruise on my head here for a bit. And I was pretty dazed. I think I was out of it for about 10 seconds. And I I knew I'd done something. And I kept saying to him, oh, it's bad. Hi, Kevin. I've knackered the bone in my shoulder joint, Kev. So what initially they said was a small, like I ripped my ligament and my tendons and everything in there, and they said it'd go back over time, and it's not. And they managed to find it in the MRIs. It's actually a broken ligament, a broken bone that's my ligaments rubbing on. So everything's strapped up, so I can't move it. And as you can imagine, it's just really painful. But once I've got through that, and I'm not in pain all the time, I will come back. Hiya, Bob, sweetheart. I never intended to go forever. It was just, I don't want people to be paying memberships and things like that if I'm not putting content out. I don't think I'm entitled to any revenue if I'm not putting content out. So I wanted to make people aware of that it might be a good few weeks before I can even start to make content. I haven't been thinking about it's being that bad. And it's just been this last week where I'm like, actually, I'm feeling like I might be able to do something, put some things together. I don't know. I just think you always think you can just carry on, don't you? I have no intention ever of retiring from BBR. That was the thing. That's it, Kevin. I had a torn rotary, and unfortunately, part of that toe damaged the bone. So it's like that bit there, and it's turned, and they can't get it to unturn again. So they keep knocking me out and breaking it, and strapping it up, breaking the scar tissue, not the bone. And they'll strap it up, and then I go back to eat at Catherine, and they do the same. And they've literally got to snap that ligament, haven't they, and all that scar tissue and everything that's in there. So when they did it on my leg and they did it on my arm, because my bones crumble, I've got a bone disease, they always give me steroid injections, right? And they will like, it goes that numb that they can do more extensive physio on you, can't they? So I could go like to hydrotherapy and stuff if I was on the steroid injection. Unfortunately, I have a condition where if they... Why not? It was just... Oh, bloody... One of my grandkids just bought a film on Sky. And I've ended up paying for it. So yeah, I'm not far from Wigan. I used to live Little Hulton. I'm originally from Salford, and I moved up to Little Hulton when I was 30. And now I live in Over Hulton, which is just further up the top. So I'm nearer to like Ashton Field, that kind of area. So yeah, not that far away. Wiggins, I go to quite often. I've got a number of paranormal cases and encrypted cases that I've covered in Wigan. And the Wigan poltergeist, we mustn't forget that. That was in the newspaper again yesterday. Yeah, that, for anybody who knows the case. I'll have to check who's just bought something off Sky with me money. Have you just bought something? No. Off Sky? No. Because there's a payment just gone out. How is your mum? She's got good. Nice. No, I'm fine. I still have a brew. I'm fine. I just been sat here chatting. Can I have a couple of grapes or something? Just have something sweet in it. Yeah, but that's where I'm from. I was born in Salford, Kevin. I was born... I think that first one we lived in. Joynton Street, so down like near Broughton Baths, that kind of area. And then I moved on to Sutton. My granddad had the scrapyard at the back of the Carlton Picture House. So like all of my family are from Salford really. But I moved up here when I was 29, 30, something like that. And then I married Mark. And obviously Mark's from here. He was born Salford, but he moved up when they did the clearings in the 70s. He come up there then. So you're in Salford now? Oh, that's amazing. So yeah, I live top of Langworthy Road on Sutton Flats. Trying to think where, because I've lived in a few places in Salford. My parents just moved around a lot. Right, Lower Barton, so Poets Corner. So when the first house we ever went in, he's not there anymore because the new houses are on it. Poets Corner, new houses as I call them. They were built in the 80s. But yeah, new houses. Jesus, Dad, that was 50 years ago. So yeah, down Spike Island way. I know exactly where you mean. Yeah. So that's from Archers. That's where I'm from. And like I've always, my maiden name's Crossley, so you might know some of my family. My dad was Tommy Crossley. And my mum was a Shaw, Lily Shaw. So I've got a lot of family down there and everything. And I moved up here because you moved, don't you? It was a nicer place. I mean, compared to Salford, it was like moving to countryside for me. I've never seen so much green. And I've lived here ever since. I'm 50 odd now. No intention of leaving. I really like it. I wouldn't go anywhere. We looked at houses in some beautiful places. There was some in Glossop, some of them were in the Peak District. Tidesdale was one. Some were Buxton way, didn't we? We looked at some amazing houses. Yeah. But it was here we wanted to be, which was mad, wasn't it? It really was mad. But that's why we chose it. It was like, in it, we're going back to where we started. There was a lad in from Salford, that's what I'm talking about. Mark lived at Holcombe Close, so near the Winston and Prushian. These grapes from... Hello, sweetheart. Idiot. What are you doing? Can I have a kiss? So good. No, they're grapes, you're not allowed them. I'm not Dad, you're trying to get food out of my mouth. Go and find your dad. Go and get a biscuit off your dad. Dad's got cheese. Do this. Dad's got cheese. It's in there. Dad's got it. Go and get your cheese. Marky needs cheese. What happened to Vinegar Vera? She passed away, didn't she? She moved up here. She moved up to Little Houghton. And she was still with Mad Mick. And she passed away. She used to be in Sins all the time, which is a pub, not a state of mind. Oh, probably 15 years ago. She tried to kidnap me, you know, when I was a kid. For anyone who's listening back or is listening in, Vinegar Vera, every town has, how can I say it politely, an eccentric character that is a bit over the top. And she was constantly drunk all of the time. And she used to whip her knickers down the street and just pee in the middle of the street. She'd fight coppers. And this one day I was playing out with my mates. We were at park. I was only about 5 or 6. And I was tiny, me. I've always been short. And she come in and she said to me, "Are you a Crossley?" And I went, "Yeah." And she was like, "Which one are you?" And I went, "Tommy's my dad." And she said to me, "I used to fancy him when I was younger." And then picked me up and tried to take. I was screaming for my mum. My mum come out. My mum like, "Put the fucking down, what you doing?" And she's like, "No, I'm taking him up." Well, my mum nearly had a fight with Vinegar Vera in the street. She was just... So every time I saw her, me, then after that I'd run away and hide from her. I was terrified of her. She was just really, really drunk that day. Didn't really know. Somebody asked me about Vinegar. When did she die? About 15 years ago. Yeah. Do you think? Yeah. Was it before we got together?
Just after.
Right, so at least 20 years then. Yeah, she's been gone a while. She had a son, didn't she? Can't remember his name. Her real name was Doan, Vera Doan. And she had a lad and he was lovely. I always felt dead sorry for him. Yeah, she did live down Kersal for a while. I had family in Kersal. My dad's... Like some of my dad's sisters and lived down near Kersal Cell. And you remember where Cousins' was? And there was that big street that went up to Kersal Flats. My Auntie Aggie lived there. And the girls. Well, I'm quite lucky for me. I'm from... Was it 2000? Oh my God. 2015. She was a character, wasn't she? She definitely was a character. But I think you have one in every town and city, don't you? You just do. And Vera was very well known. And like, but people respected her. For all she was, like, she liked to drink and she was a bit loud and all that. People were always like, "Hi Vera, how you doing, sweetheart?" And men would always buy her a pint and that, wouldn't they, in pubs? But she'd get some beer down her neck and then she'd start scrapping. Years ago, there was an old programme on about Strange Ways. I was a kid, I remember watching it with my mum and dad. And Mick was in it. Hi Ariel, how are you doing? We're in England today, we're in the UK. It's windy, cold and wintry. I'm actually going to put my light on. We've done well today, we've got to 4:30. Without having to put the light on. I'm glad you're doing good. It's a bit... I'm doing that. Hi Richard, how are you doing, sweetheart? Just having a little catch up. I'm going to come off in a minute and take my meds. I'm sorry for anyone who's only just joining now. I was just letting people know, Richard, that at the minute I can't really put any content out. So I thought I'd jump on a live and let everybody know. And I'm going to try and do one in the week. So that as long as it's not structured and I don't have to interview anyone or anything like that, I think I'll be able to manage it. But yeah, it's just nice speaking to people again. I've been quite isolated, to be honest. I'm alright. I'm just hoping and fixing this arm. Once they fix my arm, then I can go back to doing what I was doing. I'll be happier then. Even if it's at a smaller scale, you know. I miss doing the stories. I miss putting the articles together. But it's become too much. Yeah, it's just become too much, unfortunately. Because I can't move that arm. It doesn't move anywhere, so it's like really impossible to do anything with it. It's just completely strapped up, so it won't move. So it's kind of holding me back. Yeah, I wonder where everyone's from in the chat today. That would be interesting to know. And I didn't warn anyone I was coming on. I just thought, well, I'm just going to go live and then give everybody an explanation as to why I haven't been putting any content out. And I feel bad, Richard, because I've got members who pay memberships, I've got patrons who pay patronship, and I can't put any new content out. So I wanted to say to them, if you want to leave, that is completely understandable. I get it. Because obviously there's nothing new coming off my channel at the moment. Here we go with the fireworks. It's just fireworks, that it's not shots. Why they're doing it today, I don't know. Sunday firework. Might be a birthday or something, or wedding, something like that. Pick a donate, 1k or 2k. 1k, I'm not a greedy woman. Maybe it is someone's birthday, they're really pretty. Well, there's not a murder out there now, and I'm sat here going, oh, she's fine. Are you in Burnley, Sue? Oh, you're on the other side of more from me. Huh? I'm at Little Lulton, West Horton, where I am. Has it stopped? Yeah, I think it's stopped now. Well, they can't, unless they're like someone's having a Halloween party the day after, maybe. Or they're having an early bomby party. Or it's just a random Sunday display of fireworks. You are, aren't you? You're much closer to Yorkshire than I am. Stocksbridge bypass. Oh. Yeah, my mum and dad had a weird experience on Stocksbridge bypass. My mum said a ghost saved her life. Someone from the back of the car told her to stop, and she slammed on, and if she hadn't done, she would have hit this guy. But she said she saw this thing walking up the road, and it looked like an old-fashioned sailor, you know, in like the white sailor suit with bell bottoms and everything. That's what it looked like. But yeah, I've done some cases in Burnley on that side of the moor. I love my country, Ariel. I don't love me government, but I think most people. Oh, you seen Stocksbridge at the weekend, Bob? I wonder, I always thought with that, the Stockbridge case, that it was probably the building of the bypass that made all of that activity stir up, and it's still ongoing. I'm unsure of when the last reported sighting was on Stocksbridge. It'd be real interesting to see. Hi, Curside. How are you doing, sweetheart? I'm very well. How are you? Yeah, I'm in the northwest, me. I'm in Lancashire, for anyone who's wondering outside. A lot of people on TikTok ask me if are you from Yorkshire? And I say, no, I'm not from Lancashire. Are you related to Mrs. Merton? No, I'm not related to Mrs. Merton. Do you know Carolina Hearn? No, I don't know Carolina Hearn. But the best one, right? The absolute best one was somebody who was convinced that I was, what was her name? She sang, been around the world tonight, and I can't find my baby. Lisa Stansfield. There was an entire community on YouTube that were convinced that I was Lisa Stansfield in disguise. I can't sing for Choffer, and I cannot carry a tune in a bucket. But yeah, apparently there's been some strange conspiracy theories out there about me. But if anyone is interested in my TikTok, yeah, it's just, I pinned it on my YouTube channel, so pop over there and have a look at my videos. Yeah, Kevin, Stocksfield bypass was, they saw Roman soldiers, but they also saw these like Victorian children. So A lot of people were driving down the road and they would see something at the side of the road and it would cause accidents. Or something would walk out in front of the road and people would be slamming on, and it became a really dangerous place. So when they were building the bypass, a lot of the workers would leave sight because of the ghostly goings on. So they got in a team of security guards. And one night, the security guards phoned the police because they'd seen like this dark, misty figure up there on the bypass. And the two security guards were terrified. So they sent a police car up with two officers in it, like a normal patrol for that time in the UK. And something terrified them in the car. It was like banging and smacking on the car and doing all manner of stuff. And people still report accidents. And no, up to 2017, people were still reporting strange stuff there. So I presume it's still going on. Bob's saying he did a Halloween talk on strangeness. And when people share the stories with you, it's brilliant, isn't it? Because A, you're giving them an outlet to share what's happened to them. But B, you stop that story just going into absolution. So it just disappears in the mist of time. And there are so many stories like that probably happens to like grandparents' generation and back that we don't know of because they weren't shared. Because back in the day, we would all sit round the fire at night, and those are the kind of things that we would share. But now, we all plug into a separate device. Don't we? You can be in the front room with your relatives, and each and every one of you's on a different device. So you're not having those conversations anymore, you know, those strange conversations. Richard's right, they were singing Ring a Ring of Roses. Now, that tells me that we're going back further than the Victorian times, probably back into the time of plague, because that's what that nursery rhyme's about. And in Bewlil, where I saw my horrible creature, that was a plague field. So there were victims of the plague that were buried there. So it always had this kind of dark connotation because of that. The plague was an illness when you think about it. It's no different to the illnesses and epidemics that we have today. But because it was back in the Middle Ages, understandably, they saw it as like this curse, didn't they? And hygiene wasn't great back then, was it? Sanitary was not great back then. Me and a few of them in the chat are from Salford. And I was born 1967. And in the 1960s, in my town, there was diphtheria and cholera in the water. It was coming from the reservoirs. And there was hundreds of kids died. And you're not taught about it in school, you're not told about it. And the conditions in some of the homes were so slum-like, there was no clean running water, the loos were outside, that they actually sent up a team of, I don't know, there was some posh blokes from London who came up and actually officially declared it a slum housing. The dwellings, they used to call it. And I had an aunt, she would be my great aunt, and she had 4 children and lost 3 of them to diphtheria and cholera when they were infants. So, you know, you can understand where that scary connotation comes from. And then there's the whole, on the other side of town, you got Angel Meadows, which would now be Moss Side, Levenshulme kind of area. And they had the same thing. There was the water supplies were so bad that people were dropping like flies, especially the children and the elderly, because they're more at risk, aren't they? And that's, like Kevin's pointed out there, it's caused by, you know, fleas, it's caused by parasites, that was how people lived back then, you know, that was how it was. My grandmother had a home that was a 1 bedroom, 1 room downstairs and 1 room upstairs, raised a family of 5 in it. No running water, there was a tap in the back. And my gran had put an hole through the wall and a hose pipe so she had water inside the house. And that was like living large back in the day. Strange, isn't it? South Carolina. Hi, Danny. Oh, it's Danny Staten. Hi, sweet. I was just about to say, I know somebody in South Carolina, and it's you that I know in South Carolina. Where's Angel Meadows? Ah, right, I'm getting it wrong. I thought Angel Meadows was on the other side, like you missed way. I tell you why it stuck in my mind, because I've been trying to. I had a she my grandmother? No, she's my great grandmother, and she must have been born out of wedlock. So there's no birth certificate for her or anything like that. So I've been trying to trace as much stuff on her as I can, and I found out that she went into service in Angel Meadows about 18 months before my great grandmother was born. So I'm kind of looking at the gentleman in that household, really, because he got divorced about a year after my grandmother was born. So I think there's been an affair out of wedlock or something like that. And I remember it saying that it said Angel Meadows, Charlton on Medlock. So I presumed it was on the other side. I thought it was like where the city ground was, and that. We didn't really do much for Halloween, Danny. It's not a big thing in the UK like it is in America. We didn't have anybody come round, no trick-or-treaters or anything like that, no. We have what we call bonfire night, which will be on Wednesday, and everybody will have fireworks, or it's a bit like your 4th of July, so where you're celebrating your independence from the UK government. Bonfire night is about celebrating the fact that Guy Fawkes actually blew up Parliament, and we were all really grateful for him that he did that. So it's been something that they tried to ban for several centuries and have been unable to. And every year we hope he's coming back and he's going to do it again. So what we do is we make what's called a guy, and a guy is basically, it's an effigy, you'd call it, of somebody that you don't like. And you sit that effigy at the top of your bonfire and you light your bonfire and away it goes. It's a bit of a pagan religion here in the UK, but yeah, we've got that on Wednesday. I'm looking forward to that. But just like the 4th of July, there's a lot of food evolved around it. So like, we'll make like baked potatoes and a special cake called parkin. We make trickle toffee, toffeed apples, I think you call them candy apples. And usually there's a big stew or a big chilli of some kind, a Lancashire hot pot we call it. So you have like special foods and stuff for bonfire night, and the kids love it, absolutely love it. And if you live near to somewhere where they put on a huge display, they'll have like the fair, there'll be fair rides, and it'll be like Coney Island, that kind of thing. But yeah, what me and Mark usually do is, because we live high up, we go as high as we can go, and we'll sit up top and you can see all of the fireworks going off down below in the valley. And it's amazing to see, because you're higher than the fireworks up when they're going off. It's just brilliant. So that's normally what we would do. So I'm hoping we can do that on Wednesday evening. We'll have a drive up to the top at Moor. Let me try and pronounce your name. Is it Pac Rins? I'm sorry if I've got that wrong, so I'm going to call you Pac. Hi Pac, lovely to meet you. My name's Debbie, and I'm from Lancashire in England. Hi Mimi, I've really missed coming on. I've missed working the cases, and I've missed coming on, and I thought they're not going to want me to come on and just talk. Like, I have to present a show and all of this, so apparently people don't mind that, actually. So I was feeling a little bit better today, so I thought, well, I'll go on for like half an hour or something. I've done well. I've done 98 minutes. Hiya, Brian Sweet, how are you doing? A bit of an unscheduled live. Jo popped in earlier and she's popped back out again. Yeah, I'm not doing great. I can't move my shoulder, but I can use the bottom of my arm, but I can't use my shoulder. So that's an improvement. I've got the bottom of my arm going now. But yeah, just stuck in bed, waiting on them doing something with it, full of flipping painkillers as per usual. But yeah, I've not really been up to much. But I thought I'd just come on. We were having a natter earlier about when we used to do bombing night when we were kids, do you remember? And we'd make like guys. And like in America, when you do trick-or-treat in America, you do it on such a good scale. So you have like pumpkins and like the best Halloween costumes. When we were growing up as kids, there weren't really a lot of pumpkins around, unless you lived in the countryside. So we'd get what was called a turnip or a swede, which is about so big, and you'd make a jack-o'-lantern with it and put like a nub of a candle in, and that's what we had as kids. And we didn't say trick or treat, we just knock on doors and say happy Halloween, and the people would give you money. But for us, it's actually All Hallows. It used to be, back in, in time, it was a celebration, because we're just about to go into the worst 6 to 8 weeks of winter. So this was the time where you would enjoy like the harvest, the good time of the year, before you went into the darkest time of the year. So that's why we normally have the celebrations around this time. Bob, our bomber was on Edge Lane, like Cross Lane, down where the Carlton Picture House used to be, right? Matt, you might be able to explain this one for me, Bob, right? Why is it the youngest, smallest kid has to defend the bomber while all the other big kids go in for the tea? Because my entire life, our Mark, who was only 3 years older than me, would disappear with everyone and go in and have their tea. And me, the youngest, smallest child, had to defend the bomber from any boys coming. And I took my job seriously. So I used to have like my stones ready, because I think if you get on the croft, I'll just start throwing stones and shout at a kid. We used to nick doors off the old bomb, the bomb streets. We used to go and nick the doors, like the back entry doors, and anything we could get our hands on. Anything at the time, yeah. And like, it's the law, yeah. So for me, it was all like, Deb, yeah, mind the bommy while I go in and get me tea. And you're like, I was tiny. Like, leave the big lads there, like, looking after the bomber. So the best one for us was Bride and Close. We used to go to war with Bride and Close. So they, on Churchill Way, they had the best bomber, because they were near to the precinct, so they could nick all of the, like, the wooden pallets and everything off the market. And we weren't. We were in a part of town where you literally had to nick fences and stuff like that. But yeah, you used to go around, didn't you? And got any old wood misses that you don't want? And that'd be kids. Kids get really, really good at engineering when they all come together as a team and they want to build something. So, like, in the summer, we used to build rafts. And can you imagine now? There's nowhere I'd let my kids go on a raft in the River Irwell. But we used to. So we used to nick, like, polystyrene or whatever, and we'd nick a door and we'd make a raft and go on the river and stuff. Like, I'm amazed we made it through. Bogies. My granddad used to make us bogies. I was lucky. We had sulkies. So a sulky's like a small buggy, you'd call it, with the horse on the front. So we had that anyway. And then my granddad, he used to make us bogies. So, like, he was really good at it, and he'd do it for the kids in the street and everything. So we used to have a lot of bogey races. But if I was at home, because obviously Salford's like that, innit? I mean, Nana lived down here, and I lived up here on Sutton Flats. So we used to get an annual, like a Beano or something. And you know them metal skates that you used to put to the bottom of your shoe? We'd get one of them, strap the Beano to it, and just... So, early invention of a skateboard, actually. I didn't think of that. We should have patented it. And when we used to go zooming down, but the problem being, there's a main road at the bottom. We used to be like, our Mark would be like, I've got a tyre, get in it, Deb. And then we just roll me down the road. I was a bit of a kamikaze test pilot. I didn't realise at the time that I was probably the one that they could all afford to lose. So I just thought I was great, and I got the first turn of everything. We once, do you remember the summer of 76 when it just didn't rain forever and it was really hot and it was awful? We were on Sutton Flats, and they used to have what you call porters back then. And they were like, they worked for council, and they used to make sure you didn't do that. Well, you remember, used to, in the middle of the road, they used to have like these, they probably still do, like, it was like the waterworks, wasn't it? And you needed a special key to open it. So like the American equivalent of a fire hydrant. So we thought that if we opened it up with the magic key, that we could sit on it like you could in the cartoons, and it'd take us up. So that was, we planned that entire heist. It was amazing. It was like It was like the Italian job with 8 to 10-year-olds. So one of us distracted the porter so the other one could nick the opening key. So we nicked the opening key and we're all there, right, with our dinner trays and everything ready to jump on. And we opened it, oh, the disaster, it flooded, it was like a geyser. It just kept going and going and going and we couldn't turn it off, we couldn't get it to stop, so we all had to run away and hide. So there was like 10,000 gallons a second coming out. Yeah, we didn't have to get in trouble for that. We also once did a heist on an ice cream van where we nicked all the chocolate flakes and ran to Den and started denning it all chocolate flake. Pick and pitch. We were only talking about that the other day, you know. So there's certain smells that take you back to your childhood, certain things. Well, for me, it's pitch, axle grease, and Swarfega. Do you remember that? Because we were always at the scrapyards, that's what my childhood smelled like. And horses, you got to throw stables in there as well, because we had stables at the scrapper. And that smell combined, it'd be ace. So, pitch, for anyone who don't know, is tar, innit? Natural tar. So as kids, we used to get a stick in it and like pick it and like you'd go home full of it and your parents couldn't get it off your clothes. Green jelly stuff. Swarfega works a treat. I love that scrapyard, even though I was a girl, because like, and you imagine a scrapyard, it's like a really manly place, innit? But we had geese, chicken, rabbits, horses, ducks. God, so many breeds of dog I couldn't even tell you. It was like a mini farm. Yeah, so there was always something to do. And like, we had a few horses. We had like stallions, and then we had the ones that pulled the carts, and then you get the little nippy ones. Because my granddad started with an hand cart, and then obviously you make your way up, don't you? He was a Dragon Bowman, that's what he was. So we'd sit on cart. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was a dodgy bastard. He used to say, I'll take the kids with me, because if I take the young ones with me, I get more people come out and give me more. So like, but if you remember back then, if you went to the Dragon Bowman and you give him your stuff, he'd give you like a balloon. Or one of them things with bubbles in. Or we used to give people like a Dolly Blue or a Donkey Scruff at steps, so depending who come to hand it over. So it was like a natural bartering exchange, wasn't it really? Not like the scrappers of today where they just come in your garden and nick stuff. But I suppose it was a bit of that went on. He was a tinker after all. Oh. My granddad were right old fashioned. He was proper old fashioned man. But he was the one who told us what you could eat and what you couldn't eat when you were outside, and like he taught us all the natural stuff that you did. Donkey's down for doing your steps. Yeah. There's a few Dragon Bowmans back then. Mine was Shaw. I thought we were like dead posh because it used to come on in the Carlton. Jed Shaw's scrapyard, which was on Fleetwood Street, which was like the back of the Carlton. So yeah, but there was a few Dragon Bowmen, weren't there? But my granddad was more metal. It was like a scrap yard. I mean, he started with an hand cart collecting metal, and then obviously ended up with wagons and everything. And then VAT come out, and he refused to pay it. Yeah, so it was compulsory purchased, and it's Media City now, isn't it? It's one of the most expensive places in Manchester, which is probably why they compulsory purchased it. But my granddad liked to drink and he liked women. Yeah, it was wine, women and song. That was always his downfall. But yeah, I miss the old Salford days. I miss the community. I miss like just being able to walk to my aunties and stuff like that. And you know, I was 7 and walking myself to school. I went to West Liverpool Street. So I'd come from Sutton and I'd walk down to West Liverpool Street, down Frederick Road. But my granddad lived on Churchill Court, which was like, he lived in the very top flat, so like 21 floors up. So he could watch me coming off the flats and then walking down and going into school. So I used to do that because obviously my mum had a baby to see to. Do you remember the death tunnels, Kevin? Where they used to say that the 2 trains had crashed in the war. I'm trying to find people who can remember. There used to be a station there, you know. and there was a little train, and it was a steam train, and it used to go from there to Eaton Park and back. And every time I ask people about it, they say, no, I don't remember it. And it was like, I've been on it a few times with our Mark, and it was like a little proper old-fashioned steam train, and it just used to go from Salford Station to Eaton Park and back again. And that's how we used to get to Eaton Park and back as kids. Or we'd get it and get off halfway and walk to Broughton Baths before they built the ones near us. But yeah, because there was only like Seedley Baths near us, and they were falling apart. They were horrible, weren't they? Not the nicest place in the world. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to hang up because I need to go to the loo, and I need to take my pain meds, and I need to get fed. I've not ate anything other than grapes all day. That's not really good, is it? But yeah, the Mandela effect. I'll find someone, Dada. There'll be someone who says, actually, yeah, Deb, I remember that. But yeah, thank you to everybody that's tuned in. It's been lovely. I didn't expect to be on longer than 10 minutes. I didn't think anybody would tune in, to be honest. And I will definitely come back and do another one if that's okay with you guys. And we shall just have a natter about old times or whatever's going on. So I'll see you next Sunday then, about 3 o'clock. I'll have me brew, and we'll have another natter. And I'll have thought of a couple of subjects that I can talk about from when we were kids. Like what your favourite toffees were. What did you spend your money on when you got your spends? Yeah. Great to see you as well, Sue. And yeah, I promise I will definitely be back. One foot in front of the other, as you say. But until then, I just want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in today. It's been lovely. And I'll see you all next week then. Bye.